Between the time when class begins, 8:20, and the time when my students have their first special, 8:50, my students and I participate in what I call our morning ritual. Now, the word ritual has dangerously holy connotations, but I think we all recognize the concept morning ritual because many of us have one. We need to wake up at a certain pace, drink a ceremonial cup of coffee or tea, read some scripture such as the newspaper or the daily weather bulletin or some Steiner, brush our teeth before or after we get dressed, put on our socks before or after we put on our pants. It matters, right? Etc., etc. What sequence? What routine? There's an organization and rhythmicity to this morning ritual. New or unexpected elements are quite difficult to integrate into our morning routine. An empty cereal box or an incorrectly set alarm can send us reeling. These morning rituals, both at home and in my classroom, are quite etheric. And I'll try to explain what I mean by that. Steiner says that the formation and growth of the etheric body means the shaping and developing of inclinations and habits, of the conscience, character, memory, and temperament. The etheric body is also the body of routine and ritual, of rhythm, of order and organization, of memory, and the etheric body thrives when it experiences devotional feelings. So here's how our morning ritual goes. First, I walk to the front of the room, whistle for the students' attention. I try to refrain from speaking. And then we recite our morning verse. The verse is reverential, and we recite it with reverence, or at least I do. The verse, as well as the poems we memorize and recite in the morning, is full of concepts that the students won't be able to appreciate fully with their intellects for years to come, which is appropriate. About students in their etheric years, Steiner says that we shall be offending against their nature if at the time when the development of the memory is the important thing, we are calling too much on the intellect. The intellect is a soul force only born with puberty, and we should not try to influence it in any way externally before this time. Until puberty, children should be storing in their memories the treasures of thought on which humankind has pondered. Later, intellectual understanding may penetrate what has already been well imprinted in memory during the earlier years. In a certain sense, understanding things through concepts should proceed from the stored up treasures of the memory. The more children know in memory before they begin to understand through intellectual concepts, the better. So, like farmers, we teachers are always planting seeds for the future. Or at least I think that's what farmers do. After reciting our verse, we play our recorders. There's not a lot of musical learning that happens on any one day. Each morning we will add a measure, maybe 3 to 5 notes, to a song that we've been learning. And we'll play up to that point once or twice. We'll then play 1 or 2 songs we've already learned. Playing recorders usually doesn't last for more than 5 minutes. But the daily commitment we make to playing them has furthered our skills crescendoingly. I made that one up. I believe it has something to do with this morning rhythm, this slow building of memory for a song, this orderliness, this devotion. Similarly, our learning and reciting of poems, 1 line at a time, not for more than 5 minutes per day, has flourished in ways that I credit to properly meeting the etheric forces. Concerning the songs and poems, the art we study, I think of these words from, you guessed it, Steiner. When a human being is absorbed in the contemplation of a great work of art, the etheric body is being influenced. Through the work of art, one divines something higher and more noble than is offered by the ordinary environment of the senses. And in this process, one is forming and transforming the life body. That's the etheric body. Steiner goes on to say that religion can purify and ennoble the etheric body. But I get the sense that he means religion in the sense of something devotional, something venerated. For instance, he says, veneration and reverence are forces whereby the etheric body grows in the right way. If it were not possible during these years to look up to another person with unbounded reverence, one would have to suffer for this loss throughout all of later life. Where reverence is lacking, the living forces of the etheric body are stunted in their growth. Well, it's no wonder that Steiner says the teacher should, with the students, exercise not only authority, which we hear a lot, but also discipleship. In the classroom, maybe even particularly in the morning, it might benefit the students if you give them much to memorize, if you give them high art to contemplate and unite with. If you build in them habits, if you work with their rhythmic systems, and if you yourself act as someone worthy of veneration. Certainly, my class's best morning rituals transform the classroom into a temple.